Samo vi recite kad vam odgovara. Pre svega želeo bih da izrazim zadovoljstvo što je danas u Beogradu gospođa Federica Mogerini i da kažem da smo razgovarali o svim važnim pitanjima za Srbiju koja se nalazi na evropskom putu. Mi smo istakli našu želju da teškim radom, brojnim obavezama koje su pred nama, ali koje Srbija ispunjava i koje će tek da ispunjava, želimo da budemo deo evropske porodice, da znamo da to ne može da se postigne političkom pričom ili samo rečima, već napornim i teškim radom. Razgovarali smo o svim otvorenim pitanjima, razgovarali smo o našem dijalogu sa Albancima, razgovarali smo o ekonomskim reformama, razgovarali smo o reformama u oblasti vladavine prava, dakle, na, rekao bih, veoma iskren, otvoren i sadržajan način. I još jedan put želim da istaknem privrženost Srbije nastavku evropskog puta i zahvalan sam na podršci koju smo na tom putu imali gospođi Mogerini i njenom timu, kao što želim da izrazim zahvalnost bez obzira na to što nismo uvek i po svakom pitanju morali da se slažemo i Kancelariji Evropske komisije u Beogradu, bez koje mnogo posla i mnogo toga ne bismo mogli da uradimo. Još jedan put veliko hvala gospođi Mogerini. Srbija će teškim radom ispuniti sve neophodne uslove na putu ka Evropskoj uniji. Smatramo da pripadamo porodici evropskih naroda i ponašat ćemo se odgovorno, ozbiljno i rekao bih da mi ne želimo da Srbija bude teret Evropskoj uniji, mi želimo s ponosom i ponosno da budemo deo evropske porodice naroda i tako ćemo se ponašati u budućnosti. Hvala vam još jedan put.
Thank you, Aleksandar. We had a very fruitful meeting with Prime Minister Vučić, and let me start by saying that we also in Brussels see the European Union future of Serbia. And my main message here today is not only that Serbia is firmly on its European Union path, but also that the European Union is ready to work for opening chapters this year. And I think this is a mutual interest. It's a mutual interest for Serbs, for all citizens of Europe, all citizens of the region, to proceed in a very concrete and credible way on this path. I would like to thank Prime Minister Vučić for his leadership. I know his hard work when it comes to economic reforms for the benefit, maybe long-term, but for the benefit of the Serbian people. His leadership in fulfilling the agreements and implementing the agreements when it comes to the dialogue with Pristina. When it comes to hard work on the European integration of Serbia, and be assured of the fact that personally, myself, but also the European Union is ready to do this miles that we still have in front of us together. We also discussed other issues, important foreign policy issues, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank Serbia for two things in particular. On one side, the chairmanship of the OSCE. This is something very important for the European Union. We have a very good cooperation. We discussed this with the Prime Minister, and we are ready to strengthen even more under the Serbian chairmanship our cooperation. And I would also like to thank Serbia for the contribution it gives to the European Union missions around the world. This is a very important contribution for the peace and stability and security around the world, and this is also a very concrete way of working together, integrating already in an important field, our people, our work, and our common efforts. Thank you very much.
Ms. Mogerini, Serbia has still so far failed to open a single chapter What are the concrete steps? And for Prime Minister Vučić, Ms. Mogerini said yesterday something along the lines of Serbia and Kosovo are communicating as two sovereign states. Can you comment on that? Is that a condition that Serbia needs to fulfill?
Let me answer to the second question as well. I had the chance of clarifying this already in my private meetings today and also yesterday. But I think it's good to do it publicly. I thank you for the question. Yesterday I was having an exchange, a very open and frank and colloquial exchange with students. And I referred to two parties of a negotiation. It's not to the European Union to define the parties. But in the same occasion, I mentioned something that was not picked up by the media enough. I was referring to clearly and explicitly to the 5 European Union member states that do not recognize Kosovo. And I think this answers also your question about is it a precondition? No, clearly not. And when it comes to opening chapters, as I said, we discussed about that. It is a priority for the European Union to open chapters this year. I cannot, at this stage, define when and which chapters we will be ready to open. It will depend on our mutual work. There is some work to be done here. There is some work to be done in Brussels and in the capital cities. But I think that we share a common engagement to do it before the end of the year.
If I may say, in a very simple way, that we do not comment Federica Mogherini's statements. She represents the community of 500 million people, you know, and we are representatives of a small country, and we very much appreciate, we very much respect her very frank, very open attitude, and she discussed all the issues together with us in a very sincere way, and we do appreciate it very much. But what I would add, and there is no hidden agenda for Serbia and for Serbian leadership, it is very simple respond. Kosovo is not a sovereign state for Serbia. It's not a sovereign state for Serbian leadership. Thank you.
Da, se čujemo, da. Za gospodina Vučića pročitali smo stav gospođe Mogerini u vezi sa tezom da se Srbiji gleda kroz prste kad je reč o unutrašnjim reformama zbog kooperativnosti u vezi sa dijalogom s Prištinom, pa da li možemo da čujemo i vaše mišljenje o toj tezi. I drugo, kad se može, odnosno da li može do juna da se učini nešto na otvaranju pogleda, tad će verovatno i Priština dobiti sporazum o pridruživanju i stabilizaciji.
Ja mislim da su neki drugi postavljali to pitanje gospođe Mogerini. Ona je na veoma fair način rekla da se Srbiji ne gleda kroz prste i mislim da je smešna teza pojedinih ljudi da se Srbiji gleda kroz prste. Ako neko misli samo svojim teškim radom i svojim ozbiljnim i odgovornim pristupom da postigne dobre rezultate, to je Srbija. Nama sigurno niko ne gleda kroz prste. Niti nam gleda Evropska unija, niti nam gleda domaća javnost, niti nam bilo ko drugi gleda kroz prste na bilo koji način. Mi sve što moramo da postignemo težim putem, velikim, ozbiljnim i odgovornim radom. Drugo pitanje je bilo, izvinite. Pa mi ne možemo o tome da govorimo, mi imamo još stvari koje treba da uradimo i danas smo, kao što sam rekao, veoma iskreno i otvoreno o tome razgovarali. Postoji još obaveze koje Srbija mora da izvrši. Verujem da će i gospođa Mogerini je pokazala zaista dobru volju i želju da i današnjom najavom, rekao bih, da će ove godine biti otvorena neka poglavlja, pokaže opredeljenje prema celokupnoj srpskoj javnosti, da se poštuje naš rad i naše evropsko opredeljenje. Mi smo potpuno uvereni da će te reči gospođe Mogerini biti ispunjene, a na nama je da uradimo i da izvršimo svoje obaveze. Dakle, ja uvek polazim od toga šta je to što mi moramo da napravimo, šta je to što mi moramo da uradimo, da ne bismo bilo koga drugog okrivljavali, jer ipak je najveći deo uvek na nama. Zahvaljujem se.
Za gospodina Vučića, kako komentarišete to što Albanija i Kosovo sve češće pričaju o ujedinjenju, a Evropska unija na to ne reaguje i da li je to na neki način poniženje za Srbiju?
Možemo samo mi sebe da ponizimo ukoliko bismo se ponašali loše, neodgovorno i neozbiljno. To ne mogu da učine drugi. O takvim stvarima i o mnogim drugim pitanjima razgovarali smo i sa gospođom Mogerini, govorit ćemo na svakom mestu, ali mi sa Albancima želimo dobre i pristojne odnose u budućnosti. Mene neće biti sramota, naprotiv, ponosit ću se činjenicom da ću sa predstavnicima albanske države da tražim podršku od Evropske unije i ići ćemo, zakucat ćemo zajedno na vrata gospođe Mogerini i mnogih drugih evropskih zvaničnika, gde ćemo da tražimo podršku za infrastrukturne projekte na Balkanu, gde ćemo da tražimo podršku za naše puteve, za naše železnice, da zaposlimo više naših ljudi i to su ključna pitanja za nas. Vi znate da je za Srbiju politička i ekonomska stabilnost od ključnog značaja i mi ćemo taj nivo naših odnosa, očuvanja, dakle, pune političke i ekonomske stabilnosti i u Srbiji i u regionu, takvu politiku smo vodili, takvu politiku ćemo nastaviti da vodimo i uveren sam da za to imamo podršku i Evropske unije. Hvala.
Yes, a question for Mrs. Mogherini. Did you talk about international terrorism and the problem of foreign fighters from Balkans, for example? What do you think about this problem?
We didn't discuss about that this time. We might discuss about that in one of the next chances we will have to meet, because one of the things we discussed is to meet often. And I'm sure our cooperation will increase also in that respect. We know that this is a threat and a challenge for the Balkans, for the European Union, for other parts of our neighborhood, of our region. And the European Union is increasing its cooperation with its partners. And let me stress that Serbia is one of the main partners in the region. So also on this, I think we can improve and increase the level of our cooperation when it comes to exchange of information, when it comes to security, when it comes to prevention. For sure, this is a fruitful field of increasing our already excellent cooperation.
Za gospođu Mogerini, Ana Roland Blic, htela sam samo da vas pitam da li je jedna od prepreka na putu Srbije ka Europskoj uniji i odlaganje otvaranja poglavlja zapravo odnos Srbije i Rusije i da li ste danas razgovarali sa srpskim zvaničnicima na tu temu?
First of all, let me say that I don't see obstacles on the way. I started by saying that it is our goal, our objective, I think our common objective, but it's me saying that, that we open chapters this year. And I would focus on the steps we need to take to make it possible without referring to obstacles. It's a process that needs some steps, but I don't see this as a race against obstacles at all. We discussed a little bit the issue of relations with Russia. We discussed mainly, I have to say, the issue of the Ukrainian crisis, the role that Serbia is playing as the chairmanship of the OSCE, and the way in which we can cooperate to implement the Minsk agreement. So we discussed about the positive actions that we can take together. But on a Serbian relationship to Russia, let me say that we understand very well the historical, economic, cultural links that are there. I always say that history and geography are things you don't change, and it would be naive not to consider history and geography in the political relations of European Union member states and of the countries that are candidate ones. We discussed, for sure, the need to proceed towards what we call an alignment, which is a word I don't really like very much, but it gives the sense of it when it comes to foreign policy on the way towards EU membership. But we are very much respectful of Serbia's own foreign policy, and as I said, of the contribution that Serbia can give and is already giving in the foreign policy and in the security policy field, also of the European Union. I think that Serbia is the seventh country that contributes to our EU missions And this tells everything about the level of our cooperation in foreign policy. And the first in the region. So I'm confident, I'm more than confident, on the fact that this process will lead us very far, always closer. We discussed this in positive terms. We also discussed a little bit about the need to work together on energy issues between the European Union and Serbia. We have common challenges also when it comes to energy, security and safety.
Rada Komazec, jedinstvo. Za gospođu Mogerini pitanje. Da li će Evropska unija izvršiti pritisak na Prištinu da se što pre krene u formiranje zajednice srpskih opština i da li će također Evropska unija zaštititi, na neki način dati garanciju članovima teritorijalne odbrane, teritorijalne zaštite, izvinjavam se, da ih Priština krivično ne goni? Jer, kao što znamo, teritorijalna zaštita je svuda u slučaju elementarnih nepogoda, a Priština ih tada tretira kao paravojnu formaciju.
I'm sorry, sometimes the translation was not perfectly working. We discussed about the fact of putting the association community of municipalities on the agenda of one of the next meetings, of one of the next sessions of dialogue. We discussed it also in Pristina yesterday, but we discussed it also today. Let me say that the role of the European Union is not that of negotiating. The role of the European Union is that of facilitating the negotiations. The agenda of the dialogue and the content of the negotiation itself is not defined by the European Union, but by the parties themselves. We just facilitate the process. On the second part of the question, just yesterday there was an agreement on civil protection that I think was very positive, and I think that answers a lot of your question.
Pitanje za gospođu Mogerini, bila je u Prištini, bila je u Beogradu, kada planira da poseti Skoplje i Makedoniju?
I don't know. You should ask to my agenda planner. No, it was a priority for me to come and visit as soon as possible. I'm still in my first 5-6 months. I'm losing sight of how many months, but I would say for sure in the first 6 months. And it was a priority for me to come and visit here, and as well as in Pristina. This was an agreement we had also when we restarted the dialogue on the 9th of February. I've also visited Sarajevo twice, so be sure that my attention to the region is high. It was high also when I had a different institutional role, when I was a minister of one of the EU member states. I paid visits to all the Western Balkans in July, and I will for sure visit again all the Western Balkans. I'm not sure about the dates yet, but it will come for sure. But let me also say that apart from my presence in the Western Balkans, I'm very happy of the fact that other commissioners are paying visits frequently in the region. Commissioner Hahn was visiting many cities of the region recently. Commissioner Avramopoulos has a very good, I would say excellent cooperation when it comes to mobility, migration issues, and I would like to thank you very much for the excellent cooperation we have in that field. So don't take only my presence in the region as a sign, obviously. Thank you for inviting me and for receiving me, but I would say that the attention of the European Union as such to the Balkans is high, and rightly so. I personally believe that this is one part of our neighborhood, one part of our region, where the European Union action and attention can make a lot of difference, and it's the most natural partnership that we can have. We are Europeans.